Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me today on this video on how to condition hellebores. Now, those of us with a little bit of experience will know that conditioning hellebores can be so tricky. I can't count the amount of times that I've had hellebore in my studio or in other shops I've worked in, and I've tried to condition them and they just haven't lasted. The trick with hellebores is that often they'll come in looking amazing, but very quickly the flowers will start to wilt, the leaves will start to droop, and then the stems completely collapse on themselves, and I found it really hard to get them to last any length of time in a vase. Over the past few months, I have been experimenting personally to find the best tips and techniques to share with you of how to condition your hellebore, and I found one that works particularly well, which I want to share with you guys today. Now, I found that this technique works so well on all types of hellebore, whether you've grown them yourself in your garden or you've purchased them from a wholesaler. Now, the general consensus for when to pick or when to work with hellebores generally depends on how developed and mature the flowers are. If your hellebores are looking a little bit like this, as in they have lots of pollen, anthers and stamens around the center of the flower, then usually this stage of flower is too early to be picked. The general consensus is that we should leave our hellebores on the plant a little bit longer until the anthers have dropped off and the seed pod becomes a little more mature. Now, the hellebore seed pods can look as small as the little ones you see right here, or they can be a little bit more developed, such as these ones. Usually, whenever we see a seed pod, it means that the hellebore is ready to be picked. The good news is that the technique I'm sharing with you guys today works well on very early or very mature hellebore. To begin, we're going to take a single stem of hellebore and remove any chunky foliage from the bottom of the stem. We're then going to take a sharp floral or craft knife and we're going to insert the very tip of the blade directly at the top of where the stem starts to branch, and then slowly score the center of the stem down using the floral knife. What we're looking to do here isn't to cut the stem in half or ruin the stem in any way at all, and the cut that we're making is pretty shallow. It's nothing too severe. Maybe it goes in, I don't know, a millimeter or two into the stem. Once you've completed the first cut, you can repeat with smaller cuts atop the smallest stems if you wish, but I found a single incision works well. Once you've scored the stem, we can now trim off the base of the stem using a sharp knife. Essentially, what we're doing by placing one cut along the main stem of the hellebore is we're opening up that single stem so it can absorb so much more water. The next step is to place the stem into fresh, clean water from the base of the stem up until where the cut finishes. Placing the majority of the stem into fresh, clean water, especially all the way along where the cut is, means that the flower stem will be able to absorb so much more water than usual. This enables the stem to be nice and strong and nice and firm. As you can see here, these two stems are stems of hellebore that I cut from my garden. I then conditioned it in exactly the same way that you've seen me do, removing all the lower leaves, removing any side shoots or side stems that I don't particularly need, and then using the knife to create one long score all the way along the central stem. I then placed them in water so that the majority of the stem was submerged, and then I have had these in my studio for the past 10 days. Now, previously to this, I wouldn't have thought that hellebore would have lasted that long, but I swear, using this technique extends the vase life so much longer than I've ever known possible. And of course, you can use the gorgeous, fresh, newly opened hellebore heads and not have to wait for the stems to mature. I have used this technique with a number of different hellebores, both the ones from my garden and also the ones that I've been able to source from my wholesaler and from local flower growers, and the results are the same. This technique, I swear, will revolutionize the way which you condition your hellebores, resulting in a far longer vase life. As ever, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this tutorial today. If you have any comments, please do leave them below, and myself and my team will get back to you as soon as we can. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.